Right then, another Misha video. This one is the one everybody's been waiting for. So the engine and the gearbox are going to be married together pretty shortly, and then we're going to start ripping the old stuff out. Take a few little bits that we need to put back on this, tandem pump, stuff like that. We'll put them on. Too expensive to put a new one on if that one's all right. So we'll check it. If it's not, gets a new one. And then, yeah, lots to do. So we've looked at all this already in detail. Watch the previous video if you've not.
Gearbox.
The stuff that we didn't look at in too much detail, because this was a long time ago when we started sorting this stuff out. But we looked at, I think we saw the downpipe already. We've got the boost pipe, so this is to suit the S3 cooler, which is there. 4-bar map sensor as well. And then this setup was one that we did for Misha when he had a PD130, well, PD100 engine, which doesn't have the front mount. So we had to make a radiator, we had to make the intercooler fit in the PD130 slam panel, or PD100 same, and then make a radiator fit around this intercooler, because we didn't do one for the 150s. So we did all that before, and then he's ended up with a 150 anyway. So then what we've got to do is get all this to fit in there, get the oil cooler to go on. I'd like that to go on at the back of the radiator if possible. If not, we might put a small one. This is a used one, by the way, just for mocking up, waiting for them to come into stock. We might end up putting it in one of the side grills or something like that. Not too sure. We'll see how we get on with that. His old clutch, but that's in perfect condition, so we'll just put that back in. 74-degree thermostat, that should work pretty good. So yeah, all this is going to get thrown in. We'll try and catalogue it along the way, and if we see any problems with the car as we're taking it to bits, we'll look at them as well. So fingers crossed it all goes to plan. So, Owen's got cracked on. We've had a lot of little bits of issues getting the old engine out. I'm sure you saw him wrestling, and if you could hear him, you'd heard him swearing and shouting and bawling. But it's out now, so that's all right. So the new one, the clutch is all built back up. We ended up putting a new clutch disc and pressure plate in, which it's not done a lot of miles, but looking at this wear, something's got in that, because I don't normally wear like that. So there's been something getting the gearbox and go in there, stone or something, God knows. But you can have that as a spare one, so throw that out of the way. So one of the jobs we were going to do was the dry shaft, rebuild the dry shafts with some GK Motorsport race grease, which always works for us, stops turning to oil and horrible stuff. So we're going to rebuild the dry shafts with just some new grease, because usually CVs are pretty good if they've been looked after. But as with this car, you can't really see. Maybe you can hear it. Yeah, that's better. They've got rotational plane Jubilee clips holding them on. So they all wanted new boots anyway. But out of all these, the only one joint that's really any good as this one, and it's leaking grease anyway. So we're going to knock the CVs off and we'll put some new ones on and put the new grease in, but that's adding a bit of extra work to it. And I don't know if Danny were going to cut all that out or not, but Owen just brought what we normally fit to like standard cars, and they're not good enough quality, so it's going to be a bit more expensive, but we're going to do it properly, because drive shaft braking when you're on track costs more than doing them properly in the first place. So the gearbox, I didn't talk about this last time, but the oil that we're going to put in is going to be this rock oil. That's a dirty one, get the clean one. So this is a thicker oil, so it's 75-140, which normally it's 75-90. This is the only oil other than Genuine that we run. We've had too many people try and be clever and change it for something else and have problems, synchro issues, gear splitting, all this sort of stuff. And this week being thicker, it'll take a little bit more punishment when you're constantly going round and round. Track cars are probably worse than race cars for damaging gearboxes. We've never broke a gearbox, stripped fourth gear in a race, but we have done on track days. It's usually near to the end of the day when it's just got hotter and hotter and hotter, and the gearbox oil will be like water, and then that's when you have problems. So we'll use that stuff and that should be fine. You have to warm it up a little bit more. But anyway, what else was damaged? The engine mount from his old car. Don't know if you can see how bent that is here, and that's obviously had some hammer. So we put a new one of them on instead. That's a Vibratechnics, which is, they're hiding away here. So we've still got the bushes to put in here and change the ends for the ones that Misha bought, and a few other bits. So there's plenty still to do. We're probably, what we've done now, a day and a half into taking this out and putting it back together. So yeah, it's probably going to be at least another full day before it's at least to the point of starting it, I'd have thought, and then we still might have some little bits of tidying up to do. So hopefully not much longer, because we haven't got much more time, otherwise there's going to be other customers coming. So I'm not in tomorrow, so hopefully the first start's not tomorrow, but I won't be bothered if it was, because it means we're ahead of schedule, so we'll see. So it's been a lot of time. I think there's probably 3.5 days in this now, something like that, maybe a little bit more. Just everything we touch doesn't seem to fit. Just there's little bits of stuff wrong with the car, and then everything that we fit in is all aftermarket bits that all need their own little bit of persuasion to get them to go on. The main thing being this turbo kit's not one we fitted on a left-hand drive Mark IV Golf in our workshop before, so there's a few little things that we want to change on it just to make it fit a bit better. Same with the tip pipe, you've got a little bit less room here for all this stuff, so we're going to tweak that slightly and make that fit. So it's going to go over to the fab shop, it'll be quicker for them to sort it out, so it might drive over. It's alive! So the fab work's sorted. We had to custom make this boost pipe because of how close it was. This radiator's pushing it back. Had a little bit of trouble with bottom one for some reason as well. I think that's related to all this. The tip pipe's being custom, so that's been a bit of a pain. And then we've made, I prefer this air filter, so we've had to make a little bit of a bracket and weld that on and a few other bits, as well as a couple of other little tweaks that really our fault for how we've put the kits together and how we're trying to use it. But this is not all the bits that we've tried and tested a million times, especially not on a left-hand drive car. So this is all done now, ready for the dyno. So I think we'll put that on the next video. So the next thing will be run it in, make sure it runs in nice, drop the oil, make sure there's no leaks, put the proper oil in and get it back on the dyno and let it have it. See what power it'll do, then we'll turn it down and make it safe. So I'm hoping, don't know how much the injects will do, 340s, something like that maybe a little bit more, but we'll see where we get, and then we're going to turn it down to, I think 300's a nice number that we want to get, especially these sticky tyres. So thank you very much.